Hey everybody, Bill Schiller here with We Tie It. Like to show you the not too kinky leader wire bite tippet and invisible swivel system that I've been using for years for my bite tippets for my pike and muskie. It works extremely well. I'm going to take about 14-15 inches of the wire. This particular one I'm using is 25-pound test. Sometimes I use the 35-pound test also, especially as the season gets later into the year. I'm going to start with the invisible swivel. And on the invisible swivel, you'll notice that there's a larger barrel-shaped end on one side and a flat side with a pin on the other end. I consider this to be the front and this to be the back. So I'm going to tie the wire to the pin and the barrel-shaped end, that little basket end. That's where I'm going to tie my leader to so that everything slides off of it, doesn't catch as much weeds as it could on the flat side of it. So I'm going to tie a regular clinch knot. 4 wraps, that's all it takes. These swivels have a little groove on either side of them, so you want to make sure that the wire is going to nest down into that groove well. So I'm going to take about 2 inches of wire. I'll make 4 wraps. Pass the wire through the loop at the top. And I'll begin to cinch this down. Now before I get too far down with it, I want to make sure that I get that swivel down into those grooves so that everything nests in there properly. That's the one thing you have to concern yourself about when you're tying on the swivel. And it's best to do this at home without doing it in the field. And you'll see once we get this system all finished why this just makes a whole lot of sense. So I've got the wire now down into the grooves on either side. I'm going to take my pliers and I could just trim this off right here, but then the wire is sticking up and I might still catch some weeds with it. So I'm going to take the end of the wire and I'm going to pass it through that hole in the swivel again. And just pull it through there. It just makes for a really simple, easy place for me to store the wire. Then I can take my wire cutter, I can cut that off flush, and now I don't have my wire sticking out. It's not in the way, it won't catch any weeds, it's inside the barrel of the swivel, so I don't have to worry about it. At this end, I'm going to tie my fly with a regular standard perfection loop. So I'll make a loop, pass it underneath, make sure the tag end is underneath, thread it through my fly, wrap the wire all the way around the first loop and pinch that second loop down. I'll take the tag end and I'll put it between the 2 loops. This is a really simple knot. Now I've got a large loop on the bottom and a smaller loop on the top. So I'm going to take the bottom loop and I want to make that top loop smaller. So I'm going to pull the side of the loop that's away from me, and that'll make the top loop smaller. Now I need to pass the fly through the bottom loop. So I'll take that wire and I'll pull it from the side of the loop that's closest to me. And I can pass the fly through the loop. Then I'll reach under my hand, grab the standing end, and I'll pull that all the way back down, and I'll snug that right up to my fingertips. I'll grab the fly at the bend of the hook, and I'll pull on that standing end to tighten up that loop. And you can see it's still not quite tight enough for me. So I'm going to grab the tag end of the wire, I'll pull the standing end of the wire, and I'll tighten that up a little bit more. It's not going to get super tight, but it'll be plenty tight enough that it can't come untied. At this point, I'm finished with it. I'll take the wire and I'll bend it backwards so again it doesn't catch weeds and everything becomes a little bit more streamlined. And I can trim off that tag end, and I'll usually leave about 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch of wire hanging out like so. There's my system. My swivel is on, my fly's onto my wire, everything's all snelled up. When I want to store this, I can just wrap it around the wire around itself, a couple of wraps around the wire, and it's good to go. I can store this simply and easily, and if I have a bunch of them snelled up, it'll be simple for me to change my flies just by cutting the mono and tying a new improved clinch knot in my 40-pound test Maxima leader. This I usually make about 4 feet long, so that's the whole system. It's simple, it's ready to go, it stores easily, it doesn't get in the way, and I can do it at home without having to mess around with it in the field. If I have several flies ready to go, it's quick, it's simple, it's easy, and it makes for a really strong, consistent system. I can usually get out of a 15-foot package, I can usually get a dozen bite tippets out of it. So the swivels come in a 5-pack, everything's reasonably priced, it's quick, the fish can't see it because the wire is about the diameter of 0x tippet, so it makes for a system that always works well for me. I've used this on nearly 6,000 muskies that we've landed, and I don't have a problem landing fish on this particular type of system. Thanks. Hope this cleared things up for you. Makes for a simple, easy way to put everything together and have it at your fingertips, ready to change flies, ready to fish. It's strong, it's resilient. So go out, have some fun, and catch some fish. Thanks.